From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Monday, April the 15th, 2024. We open, of course, with Iran's unprecedented direct attack on Israel on Saturday and Israel's defense of the attack, together with its allies led by the United States. Here's IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari.
Last night, a defensive coalition of Israel and its international partners successfully thwarted a large-scale attack from Iran. Iran and its proxies launched over 350 suicide drones, cruise missiles, and ballistic missiles and rockets from Iran, Iraq, Yemen, Hezbollah in Lebanon towards Israel. With approximately 60 tons of warheads and explosive materials. But the threat from Iran was met with the aerial operational, technological, and intelligence superiority of a united defensive coalition of international allies led by the United States together with Great Britain, France, and other partners in the region. Together, we intercepted 99% of the threat towards Israel.
Hagari noted that this was the first time that such a coalition, which also reportedly included Jordan, worked together against the threat of Iran and its proxies. Hagari also stressing that even while under attack from Iran, we have not lost sight, not for one moment, of our critical mission in Gaza to rescue our hostages from the hands of Iran's proxy, Hamas. The hostages who have now been held for 192 days. The IDF said out of hundreds of launches from Iran, only a few missiles penetrated the territory of the State of Israel and caused only minor damage, including to an IDF Air Force base, which continued to function normally. There was one injury caused by the attack, a child hit by shrapnel in a Bedouin town in southern Israel. Though this was first reported as a 10-year-old boy, the victim is actually a 7-year-old girl. The Times of Israel saying she remains in critical condition in the pediatric intensive care unit. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu convened his war cabinet early yesterday morning in regards to the attack from Iran, reportedly weighing if and when and how to respond to the attack. U.S. President Joe Biden spoke to the Prime Minister after the attack, where he lauded Israel's defensive actions. Biden saying that he had directed the U.S. military move aircraft and ballistic missile defense destroyers to the region over the course of the past week to defend Israel. He said, thanks to these deployments and the extraordinary skill of our service members, we helped Israel take down nearly all of the incoming drones and missiles. He said he told the Prime Minister that Israel demonstrated a remarkable capacity to defend against and defeat even unprecedented attacks, sending a clear message to its foes that they cannot effectively threaten the security of Israel. Yesterday, Biden convened with leaders of the G7, who then released a joint statement unequivocally condemning in the strongest terms Iran's direct and unprecedented attack against Israel, writing, "We express our full solidarity and support to Israel and its people and reaffirm our commitment towards its security." The United Nations Security Council met yesterday at Israel's request. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres opened the session strongly condemning, he said, the serious escalation represented by the large-scale attack launched on Israel by the Islamic Republic of Iran, calling for restraint. He said it's time to step back from the brink. Israel's ambassador to the UN, Gilad Erdan, called on the council to unequivocally condemn Iran and noted that while it has been sponsoring terror against Israel for years, hiding, he said, behind its terrorist proxies, this was the first time that Iran attacked Israel from its sovereign territory, saying the mask has been removed.
Today, the Council must take action, condemn Iran for their terror, trigger the snapback mechanism and reimpose crippling sanction, designate the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps as a terror organization. Action must be taken now, not for Israel's sake, not for the region's sake, but for the world's sake.
An Israeli teenage boy who had gone missing while shepherding in the West Bank on Friday was found dead the next day. The IDF said it found the body of 14-year-old Binyamin Achimeir, who was murdered, it said, in a terrorist attack. A search for the suspect or suspects continues. During the search for the young teen over the weekend, Jewish extremists reportedly attacked Palestinians in 2 West Bank towns. 1 Palestinian was killed. The IDF said violent disturbances developed at several points in the area. The security forces acted on the scene to disperse the disturbances. 4 IDF soldiers were injured last night near Israel's border with Lebanon, the IDF said, during an operational activity in the border area in the north of the country. An IDF soldier was seriously injured, 2 IDF soldiers were moderately injured, and another soldier was slightly injured by an explosion of unknown origin. The Times of Israel reported that terror group Hezbollah took responsibility for planting the explosives that caused the blast. Israeli fighter jets attacked Hezbollah targets last night as well. And last night, the IDF said its fighter jets successfully intercepted a UAV that approached Israel from the east. No injuries were reported there. While Jewish organizations shared their condemnation of Iran's attack and support for Israel, including a joint statement yesterday from the Republican Jewish Coalition and the Democratic Majority for Israel, who wrote, "Democratic Majority for Israel and the Republican Jewish Coalition rarely see eye to eye. But today we are united in condemning Iran's unwarranted, indiscriminate, and disproportionate attack against Israeli civilians, Jewish and Arab. Iran has been making war against Israel for 6 months through proxies like Hamas and Hezbollah. Yesterday, Iran made war against Israel directly." Also saying the 2 groups agree that Congress has an important role to play at this moment, noting President Biden, Speaker Johnson, Leader Schumer, Minority Leader McConnell, and House Minority Leader Jeffries all support much-needed aid for Israel, and said history will not forgive the failure of Congress to act. Let's get it done. Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Monday, April the 15th at 7 o'clock. IDF International Spokesperson Lieutenant Colonel in Reserve Peter Lerner and FIDF National Director Major General in Reserve Nadav Padan give a special briefing this weekend on the attack from Iran. At 8, Abigail Pogrebin speaks to David-Seth Kirchner about his book, Streams of Shattered Consciousness, that chronicles the first 50 days of the Israel-Hamas War. At 8:30, Eric Goldman speaks with Israeli-American director, writer, and IDF captain in reserve Dan Gordon, who wrote the Broadway play and now the film, Irina's Vow, the true story of Irina Gut, who hid 12 Jews during the Holocaust. At 9, Eric Hausman Houston is on L'chaim. At 10, it's the late Rabbi Lord Jonathan Sachs speaking on the upcoming holiday of Passover. At 10:30, an encore of this newscast. And coming up next, it's Good Week, Israel. And that's the JBS News Update for Monday, April the 15th, 2024. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.